Welcome back to the VHS vault. Oh, I don't know, something's going on here. Yeah, it's a bit shaky here tonight, guys, because we're about to review 2012, Jace.
Yay!
Let's check out 2012.
I'm so happy.
I don't know what. That's the most excitement you're going to get out of me for this for this one. This came out of left field, dude. Out of all the films that you could have chosen, you throw this at me. Completely shocked me.
That is my favorite thing to do.
So explain yourself. Why 2012? Why? What drew you to want to go back and discover this interesting film?
Well, I have a love of disaster movies. And to me, one of the greatest disaster movie artists is Roland Emmerich, who brought us such movies as Independence Day and Godzilla and some other movies that we won't go into.
Stargate, that's a disaster.
Stargate. Yeah, well, gave us a good TV show, though. I honestly feel that 2012 was Roland Emmerich thinking, how can I possibly go any bigger? Oh, I know. Let me destroy the entire freaking world. And this is Roland Emmerich at his absolute best and cheesiest. And as I said last week, 2012 does something better than most Hollywood blockbusters do today. And I will get into what I think that is. And then whenever you see it, you will agree that this movie is a modern day masterpiece.
Well, I will agree with you on one point. This is Roland Emmerich's disaster opus. This is it.
Because he went downhill from here. Oh my gosh.
He was actually went.
What if I destroy the Earth and the Moon next? That's got to be good.
Well, his film prior to this was 10,000 BC, which was highly forgettable. I've seen it, but I cannot remember much about that film at all. So
Mastodons did not build the pyramids. That did not happen.
Well, with this film, there's a lot of leaps in logic that you have to take. Let's be honest, but it is a disaster film, and that's the way you go. But he went all out, not only with concept but budget. This thing was a expensive film at $200 million.
Hey, guess what? You see every penny of that on the screen, though. You cannot fault him for that.
No, but guess what? It doesn't matter. It grossed $791 million at the box office. It was a global smash, this film.
Of course it was. It's quality.
Everybody went to see it. But you know what? If I could sum up what I think of this movie, I'm just going to go this. Because as an editor, oh boy, I could have some fun. Because there are scenes and whole character arcs that could be so cut out of this film, like without question. But it's meant to be overstuffed.
It is.
And not only in like the story, the disasters, the overplayed melodrama, it's stuffed to the brims, this film.
You can definitely tell that Emmerich took his cues from old movies like The Towering Inferno and The Poseidon Adventure and Earthquake, because you have that feel of all of these different characters having all of these different arcs, and occasionally they intersect, and then, oh, I die here. Oh, yeah, I die here. Oh, no, he died here. And that makes me love this even more because I love the old school disaster movies too. Earthquake, The Towering Inferno, I love those movies.
Yeah, and it keeps to the same tradition, Jason, by giving us a really good cast. These are really professional, great Academy Award-winning actors are in this film. Number one being Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yes,
Academy Award-winner,
brilliant actor. Yes,
a brilliant actor. John Cusack. You've got Amanda Peet, the great Oliver Platt, an insanely hilarious Woody Harrelson. Danny Glover playing the president. It was like, of course he's the president. Why hasn't he been the president before? They're all there.
You have to admit, though, this movie missed a great opportunity for whenever that wave in that aircraft carrier was coming down on him, just for him to look up and go, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without
But I'm
question.
pretty sure somebody suggested Danny Glover and he was like, "You need to get away from me right now. I'm about to shoot you in the face."
Uh, but we're like all these movies, our lead protagonist, John Cusack,
Yes.
who at this time, was still a consistently working actor. He was still doing okay with his career at this point.
Yes.
And he knows exactly how to play his role in this movie. He got it. He completely got it when they explained him. They gave him that 3-page script that this movie is clearly based on. Um, he he knew how to play it tonally just right,
Yes.
and it works so well that he knows when to overact. He knows when to pull it back. He's just got it. He's got the rhythm going. And Chiju Patel, I never get that name right. Mr. Ejiofor,
Yes.
is appropriately over dramatic through this entire film.
Chiwetel
Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
is very dramatic, isn't he?
Yes.
He is almost like hyper telenovela dramatic in this film, but it works. It works for
But
his character.
okay, you cannot get a great actor like that and say, "Okay, we're doing a disaster movie. You're at a 10. We need you down at a 4." Because he's going to look at you and then he's going to slap you and say, "I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
I
And he's the
think
moral compass.
he
He's
is.
the moral compass for the human species
He
in this
is.
film.
And quite honestly, I think that is what saves 2012 from being a self-important slog like something like The Day After Tomorrow or Moonfall, is that
Yeah,
this
Moonfall.
movie embraces its own ridiculousness and owns every second of it. I don't even see this as a disaster movie or a drama. This is a disaster movie comedy to me because it is so big and it is so ridiculous and it knows it.
Well,
It
that's what
does.
you
It
okay,
knows it.
define that type of comedy, because there are some genuinely funny lines and little kind moments in this, but what you're referring is to be really unintentionally hilarious.
Oh no, I think that this movie played its own ridiculousness very close to the chest
Mm,
because you cannot play something like this seriously. Okay, one scene in particular. It's whenever they're flying over the Pacific and they're going to stop and refuel in Hawaii.
yeah.
In any other movie, that would have been dramatic.
Yeah.
Open mouth stares. You would have had Michael Burnham on Discoveries, watery eyes and everything. But no, they're just like, "Oh, well, that's not good. Oh dear,
Yeah.
that's
We're not stopping here.
we're not supposed to have lava down there. What's going on?" And then you have little side characters like the great John Billingsley, who at the time
It's a
was
big
Doctor.
role in this
Yeah,
film.
yeah, but he's not like a main character, but he plays that role almost like he's making fun of it.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't just him. I think John Cusack also knew how ridiculous the movie was and is
Yeah,
like,
he knew
I'm
what he
not
was
going to
doing.
take this seriously.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson saw the script and is like, I'm going to fall down and you're going to see my butt crack. They knew what they were doing.
He maybe took the octaves up a bit high in the wackiness department, but
It works though. It works. Oliver Platt just plays such a slime ball.
yeah, he's great at that.
There's no nuance to his character. He's the same throughout the whole movie. He's just there to be a slime ball politician from beginning to end. It's like
Yeah.
he's not interested in character development. He's not going to learn anything. I'm here just to be this guy. And it's
Yeah.
funny. It is so
Well,
funny. Every bit of it is funny.
let's move on to some of the big scenes. 'Cause I've got something to say about some of these big scenes. The the Los Angeles moment,
Yes.
like him in the limo getting back to the family, which is absolutely, when you're talking about comedy, it's the visual effects are hilarious. They are
love it.
hilarious on how over the top they go with the CGI effects.
I laughed all the way through that scene, through all this carnage and people screaming and falling into these endless chasms. I was laughing because a limo was outrunning an earthquake. That is the
Outrunning an
funniest thing
earthquake.
in the world. And I'm going to talk about what this movie does better than most modern movies do, the modern blockbusters do. And that is This movie knows how to present big budget, sprawling special effects. And it's so simple, and I wish more people would do it because it grounds the action more. And that is, it locks the camera down and does not move the camera.
Yeah, I'll
It
give you
lets you take everything in without the camera doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
flying through, doing all
Yeah.
that other stuff. It lets
Yeah.
you, it stop. Every single scene in the earthquake from beginning to end is either filmed with a camera moving with the subjects, or the camera is locked down in one place showing everything falling apart. Even whenever they're in the plane. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little passionate about this because
Yeah.
this is something I saw it for the first time watching this movie, and I thought, that's it. That's why this movie looks so good. Whenever the airplane is flying through, the camera is placed in a way that makes it look like it's in another airplane following the plane we're supposed to be watching. It's just filmed from one location, and it doesn't do these CGI fly-throughs of everything like we saw in, for example, the Rock movie. I hate the Rock so much. I'm sorry. San Andreas.
San Andreas.
The difference between 2012 and San Andreas is that 2012 shows the special effects in all their glory, while San Andreas flies the camera through it like it's some kind of video game. And to me, it takes away the realism. It takes away that visceral impact of everything.
I agree. There are moments when LA literally is sinking into the ocean.
You have a chance to,
shot.
You have a chance to catch your breath and go, whoa, holy moly, whoa.
That's good. That's good filmmaking language. You can't argue that.
You cannot argue. Okay, so Roland Emmerich does not always choose the best scripts. I will fully back you on that. He does not.
Look,
he's not a great writer.
He doesn't know how to handle characters or dialogue.
He is not a great writer. But by God, Roland Emmerich is a great action director. If someone gave him a script and said, "This is a script that will win an Oscar," Roland Emmerich would direct the heck out of it. And I think that we have this untapped talent that, to me, has never gotten or has never given himself a script that is worthy of what he brings to the stage. Is a tragedy, and this movie is proof of that. I want to see him. I want to see him direct a Marvel movie. I've said it.
I was going to say Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said Roland Emmerich was going to do a Star Wars movie, I'd go, I know the spaceship scenes are going to be amazing.
Yeah. My first thought is he writing it? Please tell me he's not writing it.
I tell you what my problems are with this movie, so I could just get out what I think fails this movie the most, is the amount of action scenes we have. It just becomes repetitive. Every time they're in a vehicle in this movie, they are running away from cracks by the hair of the skin of their teeth. Whether they're in a camper van, whether they're in a limo, whether they're in any other freaking vehicle. And the problem is because there's so many shots of tidal waves, whether it's an aircraft carrier landing on the president, where it's the Asian couple, there's just too much. And what happens is it starts to dilute the effectiveness of some of the bigger scenes. And I think the other biggest problem with this movie is action scene to cutaway character moments. This happens way too much in this film. We have way too many big action moments, slow cutaway moments with two characters talking. And that's what drove me nuts. I didn't care at the end. The problem is, this is not a movie where we given anything to care about in regards to character relationships. I don't know these people well enough to really care whether they're going to get along or not. And I think it is a massive weakness of this film, is that we have so many of those characters cut away. Like George Segal, an amazing actor, legendary actor, and it was nice to see him in this film. But him and his buddy, you could have completely cut them out and have no effect. Oh, yes, I know one of them's Mr. Ejiofor's dad, but really, we didn't need it. They're pointless characters. Pointless.
I agree.
I agree. And you could have stuffed it out. If you cut 45 minutes out of this film, I think you have something that's beyond amazing, because at 2 hours and 38 minutes, it is absolutely 3/4 an hour too long.
I
But besides
agree.
that, you cannot question the execution of the spectacle. I will agree with that. It's a pretty great spectacle. And, in a hilarious concept of literally, and the big twist in the film is they're not spaceships, they're arcs. The whole idea is ridiculous, but it kind of works.
Yeah. I have to agree with some of the stuff you said. I also have to disagree with some of the stuff you said. And that is, there's too much action in this movie. I actually think that the movie grinds to a halt when there isn't action going on. And I think the biggest lull in this movie is the time period between the time that the plane crashes in China to the time that they get on board the arcs. That whole part of the movie to me is so dull.
That's when you go for the pee break.
Yeah. And I will also say that the way that they did Gordon in this movie rubbed me the wrong way so bad. Because if you ask me, and spoiler alert, by the way, Gordon is the stepdad who basically comes into this family. The kids love him. He's a doting father, a doting stepfather. He's a good dude. He's a great husband to John Cusack's ex-wife. He basically saves them several times by being a pilot, getting them to where they need to go. And probably 10 seconds after they get on the ark, he dies, not only like needlessly, but in the most gruesome, painful way possible. And I'm watching this thinking, why? Why did you do that to my boy here? And, I know it's like, oh, well, just because he was a good guy doesn't mean he should have been spared. But it was almost like the movie was done with him and didn't need him for anything else.
Also shows how insidious the wife is, too.
Yes, because
it just shows how insidious she is. She instantly hooks back up with John Cusack.
Exactly. To me, that was the worst character moment in the whole thing. And I'm going to say right now, Gordon should have lived. Jackson should have died. John Cusack's character should have died, and he should have died saving Gordon and his family.
Justice for Gordon.
Exactly. Justice for Gordon. John Cusack's character should have died saving them all. And
he does dumb things too in this movie. You know the big dumb thing about what John Cusack did in this movie that bothered me, and I couldn't let it go for half an hour.
Other than appearing in it, what did he do?
Yeah. He's driving the camper van, and he's got to chase down Woody Harrelson, who's doing his mobile broadcast at the top of the hill as the volcano is going to erupt. Now, you see him on the top of the hill in the distance. You see him, and he's under time pressure here. Things are going south real quick. He parks at least 2 kilometers away from where he is, and then runs up the hill. Did you not notice that?
I did notice that.
And then he runs all the way up the hill, which was no point. You could have driven the car halfway up there.
Yeah, I don't think you could have gotten that camper turned around though if you'd gotten up there. That's the only thing. I think that's why.
The other dumb thing, he runs up there, but he knows Woody Harrelson's going to die. Don't you grab the kid and the bike?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Let's take that bike and get our asses down to the car. Quick, smart. Which is pretty crazy.
Normally, I hate
on the runway.
Normally, I hate children in movies like this.
Yeah.
But that little girl delivered some of the funniest lines in that chase scene. Whenever the volcano explodes and you just have this moment of silence as this big billowing wall of fire is just building behind the RV. And John Cusack's looking in the rearview mirror, and he's just got this look on his face, and the little girl slowed down, echoing, "Daddy, what was that?"
Yeah.
I just love it. Nothing, it's nothing.
Look, I also didn't like the runway scene with John Cusack, where he, where is he? He's in the camper van, but then the camper van falls down the thing, and then we get that really cheesy moment. Oh, no, he's gone. No, there he is. He gets back up on the runway and then learns to run at 60 miles an hour, enough to catch that freaking plane. Which I'm going, come on now.
I had the same thought, but the impression watching it this next time was that Gordon was not at full throttle. He was
No, he
waiting.
wasn't, but still,
Yeah.
that plane had been going for a few seconds down that runway, like pretty far enough away. There's no way he could have got there. But then I'm nitpicking
Again,
because
justice for Gordon.
believability.
Justice for Gordon. He saved Jackson, and
I know, yeah, justice for Gordon. Justice for Gordon. Like he very smartly so they play him as he's cannon fodder because he's the stepdad, and all stepdads in movies are idiots or morons or nasty people, and they play against that type, which is appreciated.
Mm-hmm. But they kill him anyway.
Yeah. Were we supposed to care about Thandie Newton's relationship with her father, Danny Glover, the president? Because I didn't get it. I couldn't care less. She annoyed me in this film, Thandie Newton. And
It's
she's
another
a
one
good
of those
old Aussie
characters
actress.
that could have been cut. They could have just cut
totally
it from this movie.
Cut.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Yeah.
How's that for your resume? Like, Danny Glover's got a great resume, but now that he at one point in 2012, he was or 2010 when this was made, died by aircraft carrier. He's got to be up there, right?
Oh,
because you're thinking he's gonna drown. He's gonna drown. The president's gonna drown. No, he's gonna get hit on the head by the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier. That's what's gonna happen to him.
Okay, tell me we did not hear a Red Fox moment whenever that thing was coming down, and I don't remember what his ex-wife's was, but I could have sworn he said, "Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you." It's just, oh my God. He did not just Red Fox that scene.
I think he did. Yeah.
He couldn't do I'm too old for this crap, but he could do Red Fox.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get to ridiculous. Am I supposed to believe that the only landmass left on the planet at the end of this film is Africa?
I guess. Was it the only one? I can't remember. I'll be honest. Whenever I did my rewatch, I didn't make it all the way to the end because I had things I had to go leave the house. So I missed like the last 30 minutes, but I was just like, well, the last 30 minutes, I remember how that goes. I don't remember.
There's that pan out at the end, Jace, if you remember, and the globe spins around, and all you see is the whole planet covered in water except Africa. And I think they were trying to make a social commentary there, but I'm like, just comes off dumb.
Well, I guess we missed the rains down in Africa. It sounds like the rains missed Africa too.
Well, the other thing I don't think they highlighted enough in this film, which I thought was super interesting as a design when they were talking about, the plates were shifting, was the polar was shifting. And I love that is something there's a lot of conspiracy theories about that the world is actually starting to right now change its polar shift. But it's done really well there. Where does it end up? The South Pole is in Michigan. Michigan is now the South Pole. That's what they said in the movie, which I'm
fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I was cool with that.
That means we get a summer here in Texas that is not 190 degrees. I'm fine with that.
What did you think about the fact that they gave it another insidious kind of niche by making the way you got onto the Ark was paying $1 billion?
Tell me that wouldn't actually be how it was done, though. That would be how it was done. It's
ridiculous in an idea, but you've raised the fact that's what would happen.
Yeah,
when you see it in the movie, you go, "Well, that's a pretty dumb idea." Like,
oh yeah, you'd have Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Soros and.
But they're doing that.
Yeah,
they've already got their tickets, mate. They've already got.
Oh, they do. There's SpaceX rockets already ready to go. Yeah.
So but I kind of like that, and it allows for that moment where the world reunites and opens up the gate, which that whole scene, which John Cusack kind of caused for the flap not opening up, which he admits to. I've got to go back and fix it. I would have cut that whole story out of the movie too. I don't think we needed that. Yeah, we didn't. We get into Titanic area there when we got people drowning and.
Me being the staunch anti-capitalist I would have done the movie where all the poor people get on the Ark and throw out all the rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'd have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I did have to laugh at Yuri's death though.
Yeah, I was
Yuri's
just thinking that,
death
dude.
was the most unintentionally funny thing I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that his boys watch it happen and they have no reaction is like, oh, that is too bad. Well, I never liked him. Did you? No, I never liked him either. I thought you liked him. We should have just killed him years ago and taken his money.
Yeah, I mean that Russian billionaire is borderline like comic level of.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes this movie so
without
freaking
question.
funny.
Yeah, I still think though I would rewatch this film, but it's 2 hours and 38 minutes. I know I keep going long about the length, but this is a long movie.
It was way too long. I will say that.
Way too long, you know. In this day and age, you could almost, if there's an extended cut out there, Roland Emmerich, why don't you put it together and chop it up and release it as like a 6-episode series on a streaming service? Because I think this is where this thing would have been just fire in the best way possible if it was split up as a streaming service. But am I glad this movie exists? Yes.
Yes.
Does it work as a film that really was built around the pre-hype to the end of the Mayan calendar, which a lot of people, Jace, let's be honest, a lot of people bought into the fact they thought the world was ending in 2012.
Oh, yes. We called those people dumb.
Yes. So they were able to build upon that hysteria, weren't they, as a preamble to this film, which we know helped with the success. But what I am surprised about that 12, 13 years later, that the film still works on that level.
Yeah.
You know, the Mayan calendar, and it's just I'd never seen a disaster film with the shifting plates being a massive part of it. So that was good.
You cannot argue that this movie is not at least original in its disaster piece. It is great. If anything, I kind of wish they'd called it anything other than 2012, because the fact that the title is so dated now just is not bringing any new fans to this movie.
No.
It's kind of forgotten now. Not a lot of people talk about 2012. And if they just called it, Crusty Earth or End of the World or Shifting Plates or something like that, I think it probably would have been, John Cusack's Funny Apocalypse. I think it would have held up a lot better.
His career really took a nosedive after this, John Cusack.
It wasn't this movie's fault.
It's his fault.
It wasn't this movie's fault. It was him. It was all him.
It was him. It was his fault. But yeah, this was probably the last big blockbuster he was involved in for a while.
Yeah, well, it's because he didn't come back for Hot Tub Time Machine 2. That's why.
Yes. That was the start of it too.
I'm just taking a look at his IMDb here. Just taking a look to see what he did after 2009.
2010s, mate, doing a lot of those straight to streaming.
Boy, The Bagman, Dragon Blade, Love and Mercy, Shanghai. I've never heard of a single one of these movies.
Yep. That went straight to the
what happened?
bargain bins in the Walmart.
Singularity? What is Singularity?
Who knows?
Adult World? Ooh la la.
Yeah, that's how bad his career was going.
Never Grow Old?
Too late, John. Too late.
Yeah, too late. Wow, you're right. His career has kind of. He's one of those actors he was one of those actors who was always around, but strangely enough, when he stopped making mainstream movies, you didn't notice.
He had a really good run in the early 2000s. There's been a couple of really interesting horror films. One was set at a hotel, and you find out it's all in his head.
1428.
No, that's the one in the hotel room, isn't it?
Isn't that the one you were just talking about?
There was another one where it's like he's got a cast of characters that's broken down. That's with an I.
Identity?
Identity. That's it, Identity. Which I love that film. I thought that was
It is a great movie, yes. Heck of a twist ending, by the way. If you haven't seen that movie, I fully
and fully endorse. And,
expect you to go see it now.
1428 is a great film too. Is that the one? Is Sam Jackson in that one as well? I think he is.
He is. He plays the hotel manager. You know.
Yes, yes.
I want to see the manager. MF, I am the manager. Yeah, he was crazy. Yeah.
That's it.
The only thing that John Cusack did after 2012 that was successful was Hot Tub Time Machine, which was released in 2010. And then he made a cameo in Hot Tub Time Machine 2. And he wasn't even credited for it. Yeah, that's it. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I thought he was still out there making reasonably successful movies. It's like he just went over and like hit the switch on his career, and it's kind of sad. I wish he'd come back because I always liked him. Didn't have anything against him, but I just didn't have anything.
Let me guess. It's either divorce or tax reasons why he ended up doing those movies. Because Nicolas Cage, didn't he have to go and do that for a while to pay back the IRS? That's why he did a lot of those straight movies. That's true. He had to pay off a lot of debt.
Makes me wonder.
There you go, guys. We have delved into 2012. What a way to start 2025, which promises to be huge here on the VHS Vault this year. We're going to be doing lots of great content coming up. And we really want your guys' interaction as much as possible. So please, get involved. And Jace, how do these great people get involved?
Well, for one thing, you can join us on Patreon by following the link in the video description below. You can pledge as little as $5 a month to help Jason and I make more content on this channel. We got all kinds of things we have going, and I'm gonna start that new show one of these days. I promise I will. It's just a time constraint. So, if you want to see more stuff on this channel, we need about 500 people to pledge $5 a month. That way I don't have to work anymore. And I can just make content for you all the time. Also, because he is such a humble fellow, and he will not tell you this himself, this big fella here has started his own channel called Talking Tubi. I am not involved in it, although I am very excited to see how he works this out. I may become involved at some
one day. That's why you got to get him out of work, because then he can be involved.
Yes. Because
there's reasons why he can't at the moment.
There's objectionable material on that show.
A little bit offensive.
Yeah, just a little bit of TNA and some MFs and some F words and things like that. But anyway, the link to that is in the video description below. How many followers do you have now? 5?
4. Maybe 5.
Wow. Okay,
4, legit. I need more subscribers.
You know what? Be number 5 and follow Talking Tubi. Follow the link in the video description below. And I believe that is it. Also, we're almost at the end of our run through the Alien and Predator movies, and we're looking for the next franchise to revisit. We've had some great suggestions so far, but if you have a suggestion that you would like to see us do, drop a comment.
Well, I would say we've got a front runner at the moment.
We do have a front runner, but
we're not closing the books on that yet. If someone comes up with something better, we'll go with what's better.
Absolutely. Unless we're tired or we just don't want to.
Yeah. We go, no, we want to watch all the Police Academy films again. We want to. Especially Mission to Moscow.
I don't think I've ever seen Mission to Moscow.
Oh, no. Let's end the show. We'll see you next time, guys.
I kind of want to see Mission to Moscow now. Vote for Police Academy.